How you doing? My name is Stanley Blackburn, and I'd like to have a little talk with you. And the topic I want to discuss is a topic that's been dominating the news recently. With the death of Mike Brown, people have been talking about the talk. And I know you're asking me what is the talk. In a lot of cases, it's not what you think it is. See, in other communities, the talk is about talking to your kid about sex education and life in general. But in the black community, the talk is, how do you survive when you're being stopped by the police officers or pulled over while driving in your car? How do you survive these stops? Well, the black community have to educate their kids. And I know, having a young son myself, a young man, I had to have the talk with him. You see, I had to tell him what he needed to do to survive. And I know survive is kind of a harsh word, but that's what it is now, surviving. I told my son, pull over in a lighted area or in a well-populated area, roll the window down, and wait for the police officer to approach the car. And I said, by all means, make sure you cooperate with him. I said, first of all, take your hands and put them on the steering wheel so the police officer can see you. Now, if he asks you for your license, don't make a southern move. Just say, sir, I'm going to my back pocket and I'm getting my license or ID. If he wants you to show him your insurance or car registration, tell him, say, sir, I'm going to reach in my glove compartment and I'm going to get out my insurance or car registration. By all means, don't do anything to make him mad or angry with you. I said, I know this is asking a lot, but sometimes you have to swallow your pride, because I'd rather you be safe and come back home to me. But the talk well, the media want you to believe that the talk is something that we just started having with our kids. But to tell you the truth, the talk is something that has its roots back in Africa. You see, when the slave catchers and the slave traders used to go to Africa, they used to kidnap young men and young women and bring them to faraway land so they could become slaves. And in most cases, that was slaves for life. Now, the parents in Africa used to tell their kids, don't be walking alone. If the slave catchers do catch you, cooperate. In a lot of cases, they didn't want them to resist because they didn't want them killed. They said, you know, I'd just rather your life be spared. But we just have to deal with whatever comes next. That happened in a lot of cases. Maybe not all cases, but in some cases. But they would have a talk with them about the dangers of the white men. Let's fast forward a few hundred years. The case of Emmett Till. Emmett Till was finna go down south to visit some of his relatives. Before he went down south, his mother said, Emmett, I need to have a talk with you. So she started talking to Emmett about how to survive in the deep south during the time of segregation. She said, Emmett, if a white man is approaching you on the same sidewalk, move over, get out of his way. Don't make eye contact with him. Don't do anything to make him mad at you, because I want you to come home safe. In Emmett's case, he didn't come home safe. As a matter of fact, he didn't come home at all. And then the first question that the news reporters wanted to ask his mother was, did you have to talk with Emmett? And she looked at them and she was somewhat offended by that. She said, of course I had to talk with my son. I told him what he needed to do to be safe in the deep south. Yes, I had to talk with him. Now, let's fast forward a few years. In the case of Trayvon Martin, targeted because of the clothes that he was wearing. Now, my kid had wore a hoodie, My son had my daughter. But they were wearing them because of the styles, the fashions. And a lot of times they would tell me, you know, we just expressing ourselves. And I remember being a kid, I used to express myself. I used to wear the dashiki, the afro pick, and the afro. But by no means was I a thug. And see, these kids are not thugs because of the way they dress. Like the media sometimes want you to believe. These kids just enjoying being themselves. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, the media will tell you that, well, in the white family, they don't usually have to have the talk. They don't even know what it is in most cases when they was asked. Now, the Hispanic community have an idea because I talked to a lot of Spanish fathers and they told me the same thing. We have to teach our sons and tell them what they need to do to survive when being pulled over by the police officers. Maybe because of the way they dress or because they may have 2 or 3 people in the car. That don't mean that they're thugs. And finally, just recently, I had a cousin, Darius. Darius been stopped by the police 3 times in 1 month. Darius is a young college guy. His parents bought him a nice car so he can go back and forward to college. He's a freshman. Now the police have pulled him over for no reason at all. And you know what? This has made his parents extremely upset because they know the type of young men that they have raised. You see, Darius is an athlete, but his parents always made sure that he understood that his education came first and that he had to have a lot of respect in the community. And Darius is just that type of young man. He has a lot of respect for his community and his people, and it's no reason that they can see why the police have pulled him over, but because of the car that he's been driving. And what I want to do is conclude it with this, is just say, hey America, it's about time that we stop judging these young people based on the type of car they're driving, based on the type of clothes that they're wearing. We need to judge them based on their character, not their skin color. Like in the words of that Negro national anthem, let us march on till victory is won. Now, if you like this speech, hit me up and let me know. You can hit me up on my web page, Facebook page, or on my YouTube video. And check out my son's blog, fearlessmcqueen.com, because he writes a nice little article on the Trayvon Martin situation and the Mike Brown situation. Hit him up and let him know what you think about this issue. And I'll talk to you later. And like my wife always say, have a blessed day.